again, my lovelies. It's been quite some time. Sorry for not uploading last week. I tried to, but let's just say it was quite painful after the surgery. I'm allowed to walk around with crutches, but nothing else, and I have to wait until at least 4 more weeks before I can start walking again without crutches periodically. Anyway, let's get the party rolling, eh? Let's see what the last few chapters of Not Cut Out for Heroics will do. Not Cut Out for Heroics, a Boku no Hero fanfiction written by Ended Flames. Read by Cole. Chapter 71. Text messages and YouTube announcements. 3:27 a.m. Nugget of information. LMFAO! They cuddle! Attached image of Toga and Izuku asleep on the booth couch together. Your boy's smart, lol. He beat Minecraft. He bet Chiggy at Mario. Shig. So many typos. Lol 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 lol. Nugget of information. I think I have some competition, lol. You have some competition, Cho-chan, lol lol lol. By the way, he totally called you Cho-chan. I'm asleep now. Gonna pass out now. See y'alls. Incoming call from Hagakure. Shoto picked up the phone, half asleep. Its ringing had woken him up. He was pretty sure it was in the middle of the day at that point. Todoroki! Hagakure screeched into the phone. Hadn't she been knocked out? She must have woken up. Thank God you're awake! What is it? He asked groggily, pushing himself up so he could hold his phone better. Is something wrong? Oh my God, haven't you seen it? She gasped. You have to check Izuku's channel right now! Huh? But isn't he kidnapped? Just check it! She yelled at him. Shoto huffed and swung his legs out of bed and moved towards his desk, booting up his laptop as Hagakure continued to talk on the other end of the phone. How are you, by the way? I only woke up an hour ago. I went to talk to Momo, and she told me what happened to Izuku. Then I saw what you're about to see, and I just... Somehow she verbally keyboard spammed as Shoto opened the tab. He kept loaded specifically with Izuku's YouTube page on. But how are you? Are you and Shinzo doing okay? You're like his best friend. I already talked to Kirishima and he told me about the plan. Did he talk to you about that? Slow down, Shoto told her. I'm okay after talking to Aizawa-sensei and sleeping on it. Hitoshi's alright. I'm glad you're alright. Kishima has a plan? No, he hasn't told me about it. He might have texted, I'm not sure. Haven't checked my messages yet. Where am I looking on here, by the way? Community posts! Hagakure cried. Did you not see the notification? You literally woke me up with your call. Shoto told her. I haven't seen anything yet. What? Oh, I'm so sorry. Of course you were tired. I didn't mean to wake you up. She flustered, but Shoto couldn't be sure. It's fine. What the... The community tab was a post from around 8 a.m. Guess what? I lived! Peace sign. So yeah, to anyone who's worried, I am alive and well, just sorta chilling with some new pals and casually beating the Minecraft speedrun record, which I honestly didn't know was a thing until last night. I'd attached the videos we took, but Oren, I'm talking to a fridge. I have no flipping clue if this is actually going to post or not. Hopefully I can blackmail Dobby into letting me use his phone to post it, but he's still blacked out from drinking half a bottle of vodka last night. So, hopefully I'll be back soon. P.S. Netsu, I know you follow my channel. If you see this, I have some strays for you. What? Yeah, that was basically my reaction too! Hagakure laughed from the other end of the phone, startling him. But yeah, it's weird. It doesn't seem like he's actually in trouble. Like, I don't know if the villains forced him to send this or something, but like, he seems fine. Beating Minecraft speedrun records? Really? He's the new dream. Hold on. I'm going on Discord right now. Shoto told her, I need to see what people are saying about this. Oh god. What is it? Hagakure pressed her voice, sounding almost like she was pressing her face to her phone. I totally forgot we were in a group chat with Dobby. Shoto said, vaguely shell-shocked. I don't think Izuku was lying about the vodka, at least. Hold on, I'll message you a screenshot. Moments later, Hagakure was looking at the screenshot Shoto had sent in silence. But she's so cute! How is she a villain? Hagakure squealed. And she calls you Short-chan? That's so cute! I'm slightly more concerned that he's cuddling with a villain and playing video games with Tomura Shigaraki. Shoto told her, and no, he's never called me that before. At least to my face. He totally should! It's a cute nickname! Hagakure giggled. And it doesn't look like they're going to hurt him. Wait, send me the video. I want to see if he actually beat the record. Sure. Shoto said, I'm going to go talk to Hitoshi about this. Have fun watching the video, I guess. Hey, Dobby. Izuku slipped into the booth next to the villain, who jumped at his sudden appearance, still recovering from the large intake of alcohol the last night. Can I talk to you? Sure. Whatever, Brett. Dobby shrugged, leaning back into the cushion. Just don't be loud about it. Okay. Izuku smiled. I was just wondering, why do you never go back? Especially now that Endeavor's gone. That's an intrusive question for a Thursday morning, isn't it? Dobby glared at him from the corner of his eye, and Izuku shrugged. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, so, gotta ask before I leave. The boy shrugged. Right. Right, whatever. Dobby shrugged. I didn't go back because of the old man at first. That? It makes sense if he nearly killed you. Izuku nodded. I would stay away from him too, but what about now that he's gone? He can't hurt you or your siblings now. Why don't you go back? I can tell you care about them. I I guess I'm just worried that they're not going to recognize me as their brother. Or or I don't know, hate me because I left them to suffer his wrath alone. Dobby groaned. I hate the sappy feeling shit. Izuku laughed before his face softened into a kind smile. Well, I know for sure Shoto would be happy to see you. Your siblings care about you, and they miss you a lot. They do? Yeah, of course! You're their brother! Izuku laughed. You really thought they'd hate you? I'm a villain. I've committed more cases of arson to count, and I've murdered multiple people. I don't have that high a hope. Well, you should. Izuku nudged him with his elbow. Things can change, and hey, I bet Recovery Girl can help with those scars, and if it turns out you did want to live with your family, I know a rat god who'd probably be happy to challenge the challenge of erasing your criminal record. With that, Izuku stood up, leaving Dobby shocked into silence as the teen made his way over to the bar and politely asked for a cup of tea. The bar was silent. No one was around at the moment. Dobby had gone back upstairs to sleep. Tomura and Kurogiri had gone off to attend to someone's business, whatever that meant, and Magne had taken Toga out to go shopping while Compress, Twice, and Spinner were somewhere. Izuku hadn't been told where. He had been left in the bar under the strict instructions not to go anywhere, and Izuku didn't really mind. He was keeping himself occupied with a simple game of solitaire. That was until the TV in the corner of the room clicked. Immediately, Izuku's attention snapped up to the TV. The one that Tomura-sensei apparently spoke through. It had been off since he got here, so why had it just turned on now? Hello, Izuku Midoriya. The deep voice addressed him with his full name because that wasn't creepy at all. It's nice to finally have a moment to speak with you. Hi? Izuku tilted his head. You're sensei, right? That's correct. But you know my real identity, don't you? All for one? Izuku asked. The TV screen let out a hum of approval, which led Izuku to believe that he'd come to the correct conclusion. Nice to meet you then, I guess. It's nice to meet you then, I guess. It's lovely to talk with you as well, Midoriya. I've been watching over the time that you've been among Tomura and his company, and I've seen that you are already making an impact. All for one commented, and Izuku suppressed a shiver. That wasn't creepy at all. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I don't want to join the league, but... Izuku shrugged as though that was his point. Say, I couldn't find much information about you on the internet, and I ended up having to assume a bunch of stuff about your quirks, so now I can talk to you. I was wondering, does your quirk have a limit? How many quirks can you hold at once? Are there certain quirks that you can't take? Can other people have multiple quirks, or do they always end up becoming one of those Nomu things? Very curious. The supervillain chuckled. He was laughing. Izuku felt himself go red in embarrassment. Of course the number one villain in Japan wasn't about to answer his questions. Curiosity is a good trait in a young person like yourself. Always questioning how the world is working. You are especially interested in quirks, aren't you? Yeah, I like analyzing quirks, Izuku answered carefully. To be careful with your words, he mentally reminded himself. This guy is a supervillain. Anything he says could be used against him. How about a discussion then, between two quirk enthusiasts? All for one offered. It has been a long time since I've had the chance to discuss quirks with a fellow intellectual. And that's how Tomura came back to the bar to find his hostage enthusiastically talking to the TV about some quirk. Tomura had elected to ignore this and run out of the bar as fast as possible. Multiple people that day were confused when they saw a young adult bolting from a bar in Camino and running, some say, all the way to the edge of the district and beyond. Chapter 72 Reformation and Rescue. Hey, where's Hitoshi? Shoto asked Hitsashi, who was sitting on the sofa watching the news. The attack was on there, and Shoto was making a point of ignoring it. He went out this morning, Hitsashi told him. He said something about needing to scream about his own frustration. Oh, Shoto stood awkwardly then, shuffling his feet. He had wanted to talk about the stuff with Ryoku and Hitoshi, but he had gone out then. Shoto couldn't do that. You okay there, listener? You seem unsettled. Hitsashi sat up, pushing his hair out of his face. You want something to eat? Sure. Shoto nodded. He was hungry. He hadn't eaten anything since dinner and the night before, and he decided he'd explain the situation to Hitsashi on the way to the kitchen. He should tell a staff member since it has to do with Izuku, and Aizawa wasn't there. I am worried about Izuku. Of course! That's understandable, little listener, Hitsashi told him. Shoto shook his head. No, it's not that he's been kidnapped really, it's just... Shoto hated words. He wondered how Izuku could come up with so many of them. You remember when we did the Endeavor video, and Hitoshi and I were involved with Ryoku? Of course I remember! Hitsashi cried, grabbing some bread from the cupboard. I'm not sure how I could forget. Yeah, well, we credited a bunch of people. At the end, Shoto explained, someone gave us info. His code name was Darby, and apparently he's one of the villains that kidnapped Izuku. Hisashi dropped the pan he was grabbing out of a different cupboard, and the crash made Shoto jump. He clutched his phone with a worried expression as Hitsashi turned to him. How do you know? He asked. Shoto immediately switched on his phone and unlocked it. We, never deleted the group chat, and he sent some stuff last night. Shoto explained, handing the phone over so that Hisashi could read the messages. After a minute, his phone was handed back. Thanks for telling me, kid. Can you screenshot this and send it to me? I should probably let Netsu know. Hitsashi said. Look, Shoto nodded and took his phone back, quickly sending the screenshots to Hitsashi's number. There's another thing too. Netsu probably already seen it though. Shoto said, looking down. He wasn't sure whether or not to tell Hitsashi about Izuku being Ryoku. He wished Aizawa was there. He already knew he had no idea whether Hitoshi had been told or not, but any information would be useful.
What is it? Hitachi asked. It might be useful just in case, you know.
There was a community post on Ryoko's channel this morning, Shoto answered. Hitachi looked confused at that, turning to lean back on the counter facing Shoto properly.
What's so special about that? Don't they post there quite a lot?
Ryoko is Izuku, Shoto clarified. Oh well, Shoto thought. As Hitachi's eyes widened, Izuku could kick his butt later. I'll just send another screenshot. So that's why I think you should stop being a villain, and why murdering is the users of One for All isn't a fulfilling life goal. Izuku finished his speech. The screen was silent for a minute that lasted much too long. You could always, I don't know, be a quirk therapist or something. I think it'd be quite a good career. You could find a bunch of interesting quirks. Young Midoriya, what are you doing? Kurogiri asked tentatively from behind the bar. Izuku hadn't even noticed him arrive. Where was Shigaraki? Trying to convince Sensei why he shouldn't be a villain, Izuku answered happily. It's it's super effective, Sensei said through the screen. He's already managed to persuade both Toga and Dabi to turn away from villainy. And have I convinced you, sir? Izuku asked, tilting his head as he turned back towards the TV. You have. Some good points, I must admit. Sensei sighed. Woo! Izuku cheered. Where did Shigaraki go? By the way, I swear he was with you. He was with me, and then he saw you and Sensei talking, and now he's halfway across the country. Kurogiri told them I would retrieve him, but I'm sure this is a fairly good endurance training, if we need it, since at the moment the league seems to be falling apart. Sorry, it's kinda my fault. Izuku shrugged. Anyway, what do you say, Mr. All for One? Wanna renounce villainy? I'm afraid I would have some issues with that. All for One chuckled. Unfortunately, my appearance restricts anything I would be able to do, not to mention the criminal underworld would collapse without my presence. Dude, people with mutation quirks get along fine. I'm sure some scars aren't gonna ruin your life. Half of my face is missing. And you're about to tell me that among your thousands of quirks you don't have one that can alter your appearance? Izuku countered. Or at least produce an illusion? And how exactly would I get licensed as a quirk counselor, if that's the career path you suggest? Through the government? Izuku shrugs. You're like an all-powerful supervillain. Surely you can create a foolproof fake identity pretty easily. He's not wrong, Sensei, Kurogiri said with a shrug of his shoulders. What the hell is happening down here? The door slammed open to reveal Dabi, who still looked half asleep. I'm convincing Sensei to give up villainy, Izuku answered, turning to face him. So you're getting the treatment too, eh, big man? Dabi asked. By the way, did you give Tamura his quirk? Izuku asked the TV, just wondering like... I did. Unfortunately, it didn't end in the way I wanted it to. Sensei sighed. In retrospect, it was a terrible idea to give a young child an unstable quirk just to kill one man. What about the hands though and the villainy? Izuku pressed. Admittedly, the majority of that was my doctor's idea. He explained. I actually planned to simply raise him to be a normal person, help him control the quirk I gave him, and let him live a normal life without an abusive father. I left my own wife and biological son when he was only young and missed having someone to look after. Wait, really? Izuku asked, genuinely shocked. You just wanted to be a dad? Yes. All for One told them, I simply wished for a son of my own. I regret leaving my biological son and wife to this day, but in the end it was necessary for their protection. Okay, that's shit. That shit's actually sad, Darby said with a sigh. I need a glass of fucking water. Maybe you could go back and find them again, Izuku suggested. I'm sure your son would be happy to have his father back. Maybe I could help. It would just be another reason to stop being a villain. You could see your family again. The room watched the TV screen in silence until All for One finally replied. I'll consider it, the supervillain said before the television blinked off. What the fuck just happened? Izuku simply cackled. Hey, Ryoku Squad! Hagakure grinned at them all assembled in Aizawa's living room. Good to see everyone together! I don't know if all of you know, but I found out about this during the summer camp, so I'm here now. Ryoku Squad? Hitoshi asked, face blank. Really? Yeah! Hagakure grinned, so I assume everyone here has seen the community post. Yes. Hitoshi sighed. I have a bruise on my ass from where I fell out of bed to prove it. Yeah, I don't want to see that, Hagakure told him. Momo, Kiri, I know you've seen it. Yes, I saw. Momo nodded. I was wondering what was going on with that. I hate to say it, but I think it's genuine. Hitoshi sighed. There were some messages on our Endeavor bonking group chat this morning from Darby, and they seem to line up, so I had the plan to go and rescue him. Ichiro spoke up, but considering this, do you think we still need to? I mean, he seems fine. Like, it almost gave me the vibe that if he wanted to go, then he'd be able to. Wait, do the heroes know about this? Yes, I told Mike earlier. Shoto clarified. There was a rescue plan. Oh shit, sorry Shoto, I totally forgot to tell you with everything that's going on yesterday. Kirishima gasped. Yeah, we were gonna use Momo's tracking device to go and break Izuku out of there. I see. Shoto nodded. Well, he still needs to be rescued. Oh, of course he... Ichigo backtracked. I was just thinking, if the villains really aren't threatening him badly, he seems to be genuinely having fun there even. We may as well leave it there to the heroes. Like, he's not in immediate danger, and the heroes know how to do their jobs better than us, right? We'd probably make things worse, honestly. Now that you put it like that, Hagakure sighed, you're probably right. And we'd get in a heap of trouble even if we didn't do anything. The heroes are planning to rescue him tonight, Hitoshi said, leaning back on his hands. And idiot is speedrunning Minecraft. I don't think he we really have much to worry about. The heroes can handle it, and to be honest, Izuku is Izuku. Even if he didn't get rescued, he'd somehow manage to persuade the creepy quirk guy to renounce villainy and become a florist, so...
Fair point.
Ichigo nodded.
He totally would.
So, all in favor of leaving this to the heroes say aye? Yaomomo said. Aye! Came the response from everyone else in the room. Hey, Hagakuge, you wanna be added to the Discord? Hitoshi decided to practice his Yaomomo voice, gathering a weird look from Yaomomo. Yeah, sure, my Discord tag is Invisibitch. Hello, everyone, Izuku called, standing on a chair in front of the rest of the LOE as a press conference from UA played in the background. Toga, Dabi, I've already talked to you guys, but how does everyone else feel about renouncing villainy?
What?
Tomura asked. Yeah! Toga smiled. That day we played video games together made me feel like a normal girl for once, and I want to feel like that all the time. Not like I gotta murder people for blood and hurt the people I love. Izuku said I could come to UA and Netsu would help. I'm totally up for that, trying it. And hey, if it doesn't work out, I can always come back. She has a point. Compress spoke up. I would love nothing more than to go back to my previous profession as a magician and performer. Perhaps if I put in more effort, then people would appreciate my art more. I want to see my siblings and mother again. Dabi spoke up. Midoriya told me how stupid I was to think they would hate me for running. I even maybe convinced Sensei to give up villainy, though I can't be sure how that actually went.
No offense, but I don't even want to think about you and Sensei having a conversation,
Shigaraki said.
And what the fuck would I do if I left here? I have a stupid, destructive quirk. Society hates me. The heroes know I'm a villain.
You could be a hero, Izuku shrugged. Sensei said that used to be what you wanted, right? Grandson of Nana Shimura, hero Nimbus. And even if you don't want that anymore, you could be a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber. That thunder was immaculate. Shigaraki stared at him for a minute, thinking it over before nodding slowly.
Yeah, that actually sounds nice.
As wholesome as this discussion is, Kurogiri interrupted, you may wish to watch this. They're just trying to distract the population, Izuku shrugged, looking at the screen. A reporter began to speak and Izuku spoke over them in a mocking tone. Midoriya Izuku was the quirkless kid, right? Shouldn't you have done more to protect him during summer camp? It's always the same with the reporters. Izuku shrugged when they all stared at him, though they kept watching as Aizawa, with a bandage wrapped around his head, stood up to answer. Midoriya Izuku is one of the smartest kids in the first year at UA. He is on par with all of his classmates physically. He was able to protect himself as much as all of our other students, and of course, we had measures to protect every single one of them. And we will surely do more to protect every one of our students from injury in the future. Razorhead is cool. Shigaraki nodded with a small smile. Yeah, he's great! Izuku smiled. But also, if any of you want to come to UA with me, we should go now, because this is very obviously a distraction and the heroes are almost definitely going to break in here within the next 10 minutes. How the fuck? Aizawa-sensei hates the press. He'd never join in a press conference if there wasn't an ulterior motive. Izuku shrugged. Now, who's with me? Me! Himiko grinned, jumping up and grabbing Izuku's arm. I'm in. Dabi shrugged. Shigaraki nodded and moved to stand next to Izuku, looking back to the other three. I shall join you in a leap of faith, Compress said after a moment, standing up to join him. Spinner considered before taking off his Stain mask. Stain's methods were flawed anyway. Maybe I can become an internet influencer and take down heroes legally, like Ryoku. Izuku spluttered before Dabi smacked him on the arm, and he recovered awkwardly. Magne? I just don't know what I'd do, kiddo. People generally don't like me. She sighed. You just haven't met the right people, my dear. And besides, you will still have us. Compress reassured her. Magne looked thoughtful for a moment before nodding. Kurogiri? Could you warp us to UA? Izuku asked the misty man with a smile. Kurogiri nodded, and the swirling portal opened up on the other side. And on the other side was a new life for most of those who would enter. Izuku went first, while the rest of the league followed behind as they were warped onto the grounds of UA. When the heroes arrived at the bar, they found it empty, besides a few half-empty glasses and an abandoned game console that was still playing the theme to a racing game car. Racing car game! Chapter 73 Reunions. Hey. Edshot said in his comms, there's no one here. Alright, said the operator. Search the building, and if there really is no one there, move to the other location. We must have been mistaken. Roger. Edshot nodded, moving forward. All Might followed him in from behind, deciding not to smash the building in if there wasn't anyone there to ambush. They didn't find anything there, other than a bunch of stuff that may or may not belong to the League. The heroes at the other location in Camino didn't find much either, though it was way more than they had. They had found a seemingly abandoned warehouse containing glass cases filled with already dead Nomu, and an empty room that housed what looked like ventilators and other medical machines that were still on, though not connected to anyone. Someone was there, that's for sure, but they were long gone now. Netsu watched the cameras from his office, intrigued as their missing student walked through a portal with the confidence of a politician, followed by the League of Villains in its entirety, all crowded around each other as though they were on their way to the theme park. Of course, Netsu had in fact seen the community post on Ryoku's channel. Because of that, he had opted to return to his office immediately after the press conference was done, because, well, he might have been expecting this. Reaching over, Netsu pressed a button to shut off the incoming alarms that were about to begin blaring at the unknown presence in UA before pressing another button to activate the intercom at the entrance to the school building. Hello there! Netsu spoke into the microphone, smiling evilly as he saw at least half the group, not including Midoriya, jump and look around frantically. It's good to see you back safely, Midoriya. If you'd like to bring your friends up to my office, I think a talk is in order. Midoriya shot a thumbs up at the camera before leading his companions into the building. Netsu followed them, with the cameras gauging the villains' reaction as they moved through the hero school. It would be good to know how these people acted in enemy territory, if he could even call it that, because he was sure that Midoriya was involved. That if Midoriya was involved, they wouldn't be villains much longer. Tomura Shigaraki, the one who attacked the USJ, seemed unbothered. He was sticking near Midoriya, with his notably gloved hands stuck in his pockets. The leader of the league wasn't wearing the assortment of severed hands that he had worn during the attack on the USJ. At the moment, he looked practically unthreatening in a black hoodie and jeans. The scarred man next to him looked similarly unimpressed, though it could be an act. Netsu noticed something interesting about this one's turquoise eyes, though. They seemed familiar. From the reports, Netsu was pretty sure this was the villain with the fire quirk, who had been part of the attack on the summer camp. The one who had managed to take Midoriya in the end, if the other statements were to be believed. Himiko Toga. Netsu was certain the blonde villain who had attacked Asui and Uraraka was grinning with excitement, bouncing around the halls and looking at every little thing they passed. Occasionally she would bounce back over to Midoriya and grab onto his arm while pointing something out. Midoriya would always laugh before explaining the purpose of or function of whatever she pointed out. It seemed as though they had become close over the time Midoriya had been kidnapped. The rest of the group was intriguing. There were Magne and Spinner, the villains that the Pussycats had encountered during the attack. The pair were walking with another man who wore a mask and a top hat. All three were quietly conversing. Quiet enough that the audio didn't pick up their words, but Netsu was almost certain that their whispering didn't have malicious intent. He had studied human behavior for years after all. And finally an energetic man in some sort of costume who tended to stick to Toga. His energy matched hers well, even if he kept contradicting himself. Netsu had a feeling he had a group of traumatized teens and young adults on his hands, and he knew that he'd do just about everything in his power to help them, if they wanted that help. Then, when Aizawa entered Netsu's office, he almost turned right around and bolted out of there. He didn't have time or the mental capacity to deal with whatever the hell the principal was doing, especially not with a mild concussion and a throbbing jaw. Recovery Girl was amazing, but it could only do so much. "Hey, Aizawa-sensei!" Midoriya greeted from the couch on the side of the room without looking up from his phone. "Hey, Hobo Scarf Man!" The girl watching his screen over his shoulder waved. Aizawa just sighed and turned to the principal, who was in the midst of a conversation with Tomura Shigaraki. Aizawa was too tired for this. "What do you need from me?" Aizawa asked Netsu. "I don't want to be part of whatever this is." "Ah, Aizawa!" Netsu turned to him and smiled, folding his paws together. "I was hoping you could retrieve young Todoroki and his family. Perhaps it would be good to bring Inko and Shinso here as well. I know they're all together. If anyone else who happens to be with them can come along too." "Why the fuck do you want Shoto's family?" First of all, Todoroki is Midoriya's friend, and I'm sure he'd appreciate seeing his friend alive and well. And secondly, Netsu trailed off one of the villains, the one with the scars. Looked like he was about to throw up. There are some issues that need to be sorted. Aisaba gave him a skeptical look before sighing dramatically and turning him on his heel and practically running from the room. Shoto! Izuku yelled, jumping up from the sofa as soon as the doors to Netsu's office opened to reveal his friends. Izuku ran to meet Shoto into a hug and dragged Hitoshi in by his wrist. Ichigo followed after, wrapping his arms around all three of them. Inko laughed from behind them, and Izuku looked up to realize that not only was his mother there, too, but Rei was as well, with Shoto's siblings following close behind. Immediately, Izuku glanced over at Dabi. The villain looked prepared to set himself on fire to escape it. Izuku-kun, I want the hug too! Himiko cried after recovering from her surprise at him leaving the couch so quickly. She had almost been elbowed in the face. You give really good hugs! I'll hug you in a minute, Himiko. I want to say hi to my mom first. Izuku told her, and the girl pouted before turning to look at the woman Izuku had gestured to before lighting up again, and Izuku was a little worried. You're Izuku's mom? Himiko asked, bouncing right into Inko's personal space. This is so exciting. My mom wasn't great, but you must be amazing because Izukun's amazing. Wait, could you be my mom too? I don't have anyone to look after me now that I'm not a villain anymore, so... Izuku choked and tried to disguise it as a cough, as everyone in the room watched to see how Inko would react to the situation. The woman looked a little awkward at first. She glanced over at Izuku over her shoulder and gave him a questioning look. Are you okay with her? Izuku tried his best to communicate that she was good, and Inko looked back to the girl practically bouncing on her feet in front of her. You're an energetic one, Inko laughed quietly. Yes, I'm Izuku's mother. Unfortunately, at the moment I'm struggling with fitting everyone into my apartment, so... I can sleep on the couch! Himiko interrupted, and Inko chuckled. I'm afraid the couch's already taken, dear. Inko smiled. And so is the floor in both mine and Izuku's room. I'd be happy to take you, love, but just I don't have room. That can be changed. Netsu spoke up from the other side of the room, and Aizawa face-palmed nearly. Wait, back up a second. Izuku spoke up, confused. Who exactly has been sleeping in our apartment while I was busy being kidnapped? Of course we couldn't tell you, Inko said with a smile. There's a lot to catch up on, Izuku, but on the night you were kidnapped, I got Rei out of the hospital. Fuyumi and Natsuo were contacted and rushed here to see her, and Shoto too. He was in such a state. Shoto looked away, embarrassed, and Izuku mentally noted to catch his friends up on everything. Fuyumi, Natsuo and Rei have been staying in our apartment since, as there isn't really anywhere Rei can stay at the moment. Inko finished her explanation. Natsuo has been sleeping in your room. Izuku, I hope you don't mind. Your camera setup is awesome, dude. Natsuo gave him a thumbs up. Don't worry though, I swear I didn't go through your stuff, Mama Doria. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Izuku smiled awkwardly, going to do a thumbs up. So... I feel like I shouldn't ask, but why is the League of Villains here? Hitoshi asked. Izuku, what did you do? We kinda decided...
We, kinda decided that we, don't wanna be villains anymore.
Shigaraki answered his questions with a shrug.
That idiot said the rat could help, and now we're here.
Yep. Dabi nodded not so subtly, completely ignoring the entire presence of the Todorokis. I'm pretty sure Krusty Sensei ran off to find his long-lost son or something. That would explain why we couldn't find him, Netsu nodded. Anyways, as it stands, we are currently working on erasing everyone's criminal records. It should be done in around a week. For now, you will all stay on campus, here at UA. As for the next order of business, Dabi! Dabi's Todoroki! Himiko screeched, her eyes squeezed shut. She took a deep breath of relief. Oh my god! I've been keeping that secret for so long! Thank you. Dabi groaned sarcastically. You useless woman. You're welcome! Himiko giggled. Wait, what? Fuyumi was the first to come to her senses after that. How do we know you're not lying? Dabi stared for a minute before sighing in defeat. I really didn't want to be fucking announced like that, but... You remember one year when we were little, there was a snowstorm and we all went outside with Mom too. Shoto was just a baby then. Fuyumi, you kept a picture of us all from that day in your top drawer, hidden under your socks so Dad wouldn't find it. That's... Fuyumi seemed lost for words now. You're right. I did that. That was where I kept all my precious stuff. The photo is framed now, though. And it wasn't one of the ones shown in the video either. Natsuo said, eyes widening. So that means it's really... Toya! It's really you! Fuyumi walked up to him, going in for a hug before backing out at the last second, punching him in the shoulder and giving his in the shoulder instead. Dabi yelped before grabbing his shoulder and giving his sister a look. What the hell was that for? Dabi yelled. That hurt! That was for staying away for so long! Fuyumi told him before pulling him into a tight hug. I missed you, Toya. Yeah, I missed you too, dumbasses. Dabi sighed, giving in to the hug. Moments later, Natsuo joined them, with a little prompting from Inko. Rei made her way over to her children with tears of joy in her eyes. Izuku glanced to Shoto, who still stood with him, Hitoshi and Ichigo. You aren't going to join them? Izuku asked, bumping shoulders with the other to get his attention. I never knew Toya very well. Shoto admitted sadly. I don't really remember anything from when everyone was happy like he described. All memories with Toya are painful to remember. I just feel like I don't really belong over there. Get your sorry ass over here and stop looking down on yourself, Shoto. Toya yelled from across the room. They want you over there? Izuku smiled at his friend, nudging his friend forward. I promise. Chapter 74. Things revealed. Over the next week, Rei managed to claim money from the lawsuit against Endeavor alongside with finding a simple job to bring in money for the family. She had bought an apartment big enough to house her and her children not far from where Inko and Izuku lived. Speaking of Izuku and Inko, Netsu had paid for a house for her to move. It was a surprise, but a welcome one. The house they had bought wasn't huge, but it was big enough to house the small family along with Toga and Shigaraki, who had both asked for somewhere to stay. Twice, or Chin, now was staying with them as well, but not permanently. He was only staying with them until his mental state was stable enough for him to sustain himself without risk. He was going to see one of the best trauma therapists in Japan, as were most of the league, recommended directly by Netsu himself. Magne had gone to stay with a friend she had cut off contact with after going to the world of villainy, and Compress had been invited to stay with her. Everyone seemed happy with this arrangement, so it stuck. It was raining on Thursday morning. It was the last week of summer break. Wow, being kidnapped sure made time fly by. And they'd be going back to UA next Monday to return to life as normal. Shoto and Hitoshi were with Izuku in his new bedroom. It was definitely an upgrade from his old room, a good bit bigger, but at the same moment it felt like any old room, uninhabited and empty. That's what the trio hoped to fix. All right, Izuku turned to the pair with a grin. What should we do first? You want to set up the furniture first? Hitoshi asked. Seems logical. Good idea! Izuku grinned, grabbing one of the cardboard boxes that supposedly contained the pieces of his bed. He watched as Shoto startled himself with a power drill, and Hitoshi quickly took the tool away from him. Let's go! Three hours later, every occupant of the house was sitting around the dining table eating the lunch that Inko had prepared. They were all tired. Everyone had been busy that day. Tomura and Toga had been decorating their rooms, just as Izuku and his friends had with him, with help from Chin. And Inko, before she had gone to make dinner, they had been just about ready to tuck into the food when there was a knock at the door. Do you mind getting that, Izuku, honey? Inko called from where she was grabbing something in the kitchen. Izuku was already standing up from his chair. Got it! Izuku called, running over to the open door, staring up at the stranger on the other side with a small grin, with a small girl practically attached to his leg. Hi, who are? Is Inko home? I'm here for her, the man said, and Izuku recognized that voice. He stared at the man for a moment. He seemed weirdly familiar. White curly hair and freckles. It couldn't be. Mom! Izuku screamed into the house. There was a crash before Inko came running. As soon as she saw the man at the door, though, she seemed to stop breathing. Hisashi! She whispered, confirming Izuku's suspicions before fainting. Izuku squeaked and darted to catch her before she hit the ground. Oh dear. Hisashi, also known as All for One, chuckled awkwardly from the doorway. I see I didn't quite anticipate Inko's reaction correctly. Izuku sputtered, You! Yes, me. All for One smirked to him. Fucking smirked! And Izuku didn't quite know what to say, so he didn't! Hey, can one of you guys come help me over here? Izuku called into the house, blatantly ignoring Japan's greatest supervillain, who was apparently his dad. Mom fainted! Hitoshi and Shota appeared in an instant to help Izuku carry an unconscious Inko to the couch before finally turning back to acknowledge the man at the door.
So who's this guy?
Hitoshi asked, breaking the uncomfortable silence as the three former villains slunk over to watch what was happening too. My dad, Izuku said, who I haven't seen since I was 3 years old and is apparently the #1 supervillain in the world.
Was.
Oh, for one, Hisashi, what the fuck?
Cut in. I was the #1 supervillain. I have retired.
You can do that? Izuku asked in high-pitched voices. He was sure nothing else could surprise him now. Boy, was he wrong.
Wait, Sensei?
Tomura asked.
How'd you get your face back?
Hello, Tomura.
Hisashi. It was easier to just call him that. Fuck this! Nodded. And to answer your question, this little girl has a quirk that allows her to rewind a person back to their former state. I helped her control it enough to heal me and brought her with me. Would you like to introduce yourself? He looked down at the timid girl by his side, who hid further behind his legs. When everyone's attention moved to her, she had a small horn on the side of her head and long, tangled white hair. Were those bandages? Her lip trembled a little when she looked intently at the floor, but she opened her mouth to speak. I'm Eri, she whispered. Himiko brought her up, her hands up to squish her cheeks together to stop herself from squealing at the cuteness from the small girl. Sashi said I'd be safe.
You will be, the man confirmed, before turning to introduce her to the crowd. Eri, this is Izuku, my son, and his friends, Hitoshi and Shoto. How do you know our names, creepy man?
Hitoshi spoke and Eri looked at him with wide eyes. Izuku elbowed him in the side before taking a single step forward and kneeling down so he was at eye level with her, before holding out his hand in to hopefully show that he wasn't a threat.
Hey, Eri. It's nice to meet you.
Izuku smiled. Eri stared at him in surprise.
Everyone here is super nice, I promise.
Really?
Yeah, Izuku smiled. I wouldn't let them be here if they weren't.
Psh! Like you could stop us!
Tomura grumbled, but he shut up when Izuku cast a glare at him.
I rescued Eri from the Yakuza,
Hisashi informed. They were experimenting on her because of her quirk. At everyone's astounded looks, he added, the Mafia are gone now.
Right. Izuku nodded. So we're keeping her?
Of course, Hisashi confirmed. I will inform Inko as soon as she wakes up. Now I smell something delicious, and I'm sure Eri is hungry too. Is that Inko's cooking?
Yes, it is.
Izuku edged away back to the table as everyone else followed him, still a little wary. Hisashi didn't seem to care. Damn, this was going to be weird to get used to. 2 letters from UA had arrived the next day, one for Izuku and one surprisingly for Himiko. Open yours first, Izuku told her firmly as they both sat cross-legged in the hallway opposite of each other. No, you open yours first, Himiko answered just as determinedly. They had been at this for a good half an hour, staring each other down and sitting by the front door. Inko had decided to just leave them be. Yours is probably more important, Izuku reasoned, since you're not actually attending UA yet, so objectively you should open yours first. But you're already at UA, so yours could be more important than mine. Himiko reversed his flimsy point. So you should open yours.
Why don't you both open it at the same fucking time? Dumbasses!
Tomura yelled from the couch in the room over.
Your back and forth is driving me insane!
Sorry, Tomu-chan! Himiko giggled with the least sincere look on her face Izuku had ever seen. We'll open them together. Izuku nodded at her and she nodded back with a grin. Okay, 3, 2, 1. With both the letters open, they began to read through them at the same time. Izuku had barely gotten the second paragraph of his letter, though, before Izuku had flung her arms around him, making him accidentally crumple said letter as he attempted to stabilize himself. What is it? Izuku asked, slightly panicking. What did it say? Was it bad? Oh no! Izu-chan! Himiko lightly bopped him on the side of the face as she grinned wildly. Natsu said I could join the support course! The letter was talking about that, and all that stuff I need to do for it! Oh really? That's great, Himiko! Izuku grinned back, before uncrumpling his letter and continued to read. Mine is talking about how we're going to move into on campus dorms to increase security? Himiko tilted her head. They do know that there's not a threat anymore, right? Izuku asked her. We made that clear. Yeah. It's probably to protect against future leaks of villains. A precaution then. Izuku nodded. Cool. Glad I just set up my cameras here. Hello, YouTube! Izuku grinned through, though for the first time in life the live chat couldn't see him. Rather, a Minecraft version of him, created by a fan, surrounded by Minecraft versions of his friends. You may be confused. Trust me, I am too! I know this isn't normal, obviously, Izuku continued, but a lot has happened in the last few weeks and there's been a severe lack of videos on my part, so consider this stream my apology to you guys. There was a flood of kind messages in the chat telling him it was okay and that he should take breaks when he needs to. Alright, introductions and apology over. We're here in a Minecraft world because as some of you have noticed, I beat the record I didn't know existed. Izuku laughed as he continued talking. So we're gonna play Minecraft for you guys. I have some friends here to play too, so it's not boring. Say hi, people! There was a range of greetings ranging from overly excited to utterly unbothered. Alright, I'm going to introduce you guys, and then we're gonna get started. Get started with what? Someone yelled over the voice chat. Minecraft, dumbass! Another yelled back. Okay, Jesus, mind the language, there are kids watching. Izuku tried to defuse. Says Mr. Sun. Says you, Mr. Sunshine. Someone else yelled. Izuku sighed and moved to punch one of the Minecraft characters standing next to him. Hey! Alright, this is the most British of Brett, aka Brett, my admin. Izuku punched the orange-haired Minecraft skin. Hello, it's me, ya homegirl. We chilling? Brett announced herself happily. Unfortunately, Sadness couldn't make it, but we've still got the manliest hero, aka Crimson Riot Supremacy, aka Hero in Training Red Riot. Support him, he's cool! Izuku punched Ichigo's Minecraft skin next. It was designed to look like himself in a shark onesie.
Aw, thanks man! You're cool too!
And the last of my admins, Sleepy Cat 2014, who was not creative that he has the same user on Discord and Minecraft. Yeah, fuck you too. I mean, frick you too. Hitoshi huffed. Izuku could practically hear the middle finger being put up in his vague direction. Next we have all the Todoroki siblings in order of age. Descending we have Toya, who apparently is not dead! As I won't let it go. Fuyumi, best girl, as the real Elsa TM, Natsuo, who would be getting a compliment but calls me Shoto's mother every time we see each other, as wish I was Elsa, and Shoto, who objectively is my favorite, as I'm totally Elsa, shh, and I can't help but think they collaborated on those usernames. The chat was going mad. Izuku could barely read the messages, they were going by so fast. Mostly, he was pretty sure they were string of emojis that denoted dying of laughter or utter shock, as he assumed he was doing good. Toya was laughing maniacally at the shock that seemed to be present at his casual entrance. The Todorokis managed to greet the world in the correct order to Izuku's surprise. He assumed Toya would refuse to go first. And finally we have Lovingly Stabs You, who's my new friend Himiko. Izuku finished, purposefully forgetting the person at the end of the row. Himiko's character jumped up and down as she babbled excitedly.
Fucking excuse me, I kidnap you and this is the thanks I get?
Tenko, who had almost hesitantly asked to start going by his old name again after Hisashi told him everything about his background, screeched. I wouldn't admit that on livestream, Tenko. I can't edit it out, Izuku warned. Also, mind the language. I have hero privileges.
Well, yeah, I have dad privileges,
Tenko yelled back.
He's my goddamn dad,
Izuku yelled in the mic.
Just because he was actually present in your life doesn't change that. Let's not get into family issues on stream, dudes.
Ichigo tried to defuse the fight, but Izuku had already crafted a wooden sword and was now brutally slaying Tenko with it. My dad, Izuku said firmly as Tenko died to his blade. Suddenly the chat was full of cheers, congratulating Izuku on standing up for himself and promising to side with him in court. Okay, fine, Mr. McCrusty Dusty is... he's Mr. McCrusty Dusty and his name is Tenko, Izuku introduced with a pout, smacking Tenko's Minecraft skin.
Anyway, what exactly are we going to do, man?
Ichigo asked.
You told us nothing except get Minecraft.
Izuku thought. Well, because I already speedran Minecraft before, I thought we'd just mess around, like actually explore the game and try to survive. I don't know how to play, Shoto said. There was a murmur of agreement from Toya.
I can't believe you'd be like this, Toya,
Tenko said, betrayal clear in his voice.
How do you live with me for a month yet not pick up anything?
Because I don't care,
Toya retorted easily, punching Tenko's character and starting yet another fight. Bro! Natsuo sighed. Minecraft is like the basic game of all games. Everyone knows it. Okay, children, don't fight, Izuku said, breaking up the fight. Yes, Mama Ryoku, Natsuo said. Damn, that sounded so nice. Wait, no, it doesn't sound nice. Natsuo, I know you can't see me right now, but I hope you can feel the murderous energy, Izuku said before perking up. Okay, people, first step on Minecraft, we need to punch trees. Go get yourself to the forest and start deforestation process. Everyone started screaming and running towards the forest as they began punching down the trees. Izuku turned away and started answering questions in chat. An hour later, they had a somewhat substantial house that Fuyumi, Brett, and Eiichiro had chosen to build together. Hitoshi and Toya were creating a large farm, both animals and crops, and Toya had discovered flint and steel and started burning down the forest before Hitoshi had moved him away and had to start helping with the animals. Tenko had gone off exploring. He tasked himself with finding all the different types of plants and saplings. Izuku was pretty sure he just wanted to get away from Toya, who had the most fun setting him on fire instead of the trees. Natsuo was showing Shoto how mining worked while Izuku was busy keeping an eye on the chat and helping everyone out with their jobs, mainly acting as some kind of messenger boy. Taking the materials Natsuo and Shoto gathered and giving them to the house builders or taking wood to the miners when they needed it. There's a creeper! Himiko screeched, fleeing from the green mob. It's gonna explode the house! Help! Izuku ran over to her and killed the creeper. Himiko let out a sigh of relief. Thanks, Izuku! You're my savior! Izuku grinned. The chat went silent. Toga. Hitoshi broke the silence. Yes? Why'd everyone go so quiet? What'd I do? Himiko asked. Now worried, Izuku just kind of stared at his scene in shock. The chat was going mad. Himiko, Izuku said gently. Toya burst out laughing. Cat's out of the bag now! Isn't it? Toya said, and you could hear the smirk through his voice. What'd I do? You guys are scaring me! Himiko cried when Brett gasped in realization. She seemed even more confused. Guys, what's going on? Himiko, Shoto said calmly. Look at the chat. Look at the... Oh no! Himiko was silent for a minute. Yeah, Izuku said. Welp. Oh my god, Izuku! Ah! I'm sorry, please! Don't disown me! Himiko cried, and they could all tell that she was genuinely serious. Whoa, I'm not disowning you, Izuku told her. I'm pretty sure I can't do that. Himiko burst into the room, making Izuku yelp in surprise, and she looked genuinely scared as she leapt at him for a hug. Izuku cocked her awkwardly in his chair. Hey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I was planning to reveal my identity soon anyway. Izuku patted her hair before leaning into his mic. Guys, if you get mad at Himiko, I'll murder you all. Whoa, okay then, Natsuo said. Does that mean I can call you Mama Doria now? No! Izuku yelled at him. You can't! Everyone in the VC laughed at him, and Izuku pouted, his arms full of Himiko still, and his character was being brutally killed by a zombie, but he didn't really care right now. Okay, guys, we're gonna pretend this didn't happen and get back to stream, okay? Izuku said. We'll talk later Damn, this is gonna be fun when we move into the dorms tomorrow.
Chapter 75 Revelations and Reactions.
Sir! Sir! Sir Night-Eye looked up to find his intern leaning against the door, out of breath from running up 2 flights of stairs to arrive at his office. Is there something wrong, Mirio? Sir Night-Eye asked, placing his papers down neatly on the desk and placing a paperweight on top of them as to make sure they remain in order. It's about the Yakuza group we were investigating. Sir, there's been a shocking development. Mirio trailed off, waving a hand around as he further moved into the office. Sir Night-Eye stood up to address his intern properly, now interested in whatever the news he was bringing. What happened? Sir Night-Eye asked calmly, pushing his glasses up with his nose and stepping out from around his desk. Why do you seem so stressed? Did the Shie Hasaikai make a move? Not exactly, sir. But someone else did. Mirio said, seemingly worried. What exactly are you implying? Night-Eye asked, trying to seem stern, even though all he really was confused. The 8 percepts are, they're gone, sir! Mirio said. We had a report this morning from the patrolling heroes that they'd found every member dead. I don't know how this happened or why, but from what they could tell, it was very gruesome. And it looked like everyone had died the same way, suggesting it was a single person or a small group who did this, but we won't know who until we get the police reports in. Really? Sir Night-Eye hummed. The Shie Hasaikai were a powerful group. I wonder who could have been powerful enough to take them down without us noticing. Mirio, go and find Centipeder and Bubble Girl. I'm going to organize a reconnaissance mission. Yes, sir. Mirio saluted before running from the office. Sir Night-Eye sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. He could feel a headache coming on. All Might didn't know what to expect when he was called to Netsu's office on the Sunday afternoon before the students were to come into dorms. But it certainly wasn't this. Good afternoon, All Might, Netsu greeted with a wave. Aizawa stood leaning against the wall behind the rodent, and Tsukaushi stood beside him on the couch, said, Heyo! Izuku Midoriya greeted with an enthusiastic wave and a smile, considering that the last All Might had heard, seeing the boy here and happy was already a shock. What was happening here? It's been a while, All Might. The man sat beside Midoriya greeted him with a raised teacup, a blinding smile reminiscent of Midoriya's rather than signature sinister one, and wait a moment. You're looking well. All Might could only gape in shock, too surprised to attack his arch nemesis. The villain overlord was here, having afternoon tea with the principal of the top hero school in Japan, and not only that, but he didn't seem injured or in the slightest, and All Might was sure that he was sure he'd killed the man. It's just... And if he hadn't killed him, then he'd at least been gravely injured. How in the world did... How?
You'll catch flies like that, All Might. Aizawa huffed. Sit the hell down, so we can get this over with. I have no idea why you're even here, but whatever. What the hell is he doing here?
All Might glared, pointing dramatically at All for One, whose face morphed into an expression of mock offense.
Who, me?
He asked with a gasp, putting a hand on his chest.
Whatever would you mean?
Don't be an asshole, young Midoriya said, elbowing the villain in the side, and now All Might was even more lost. He's here, Netsu interrupted, because of some recent development involving the former League of Villains, and young Midoriya, that we believe you should be informed of as the number one hero.
If you try and fight each other, I'm here to cancel your quirks, and Midnight is on standby to put you both to sleep. So, fuck this. So don't you do stupid things, you're adults. Aizawa informed. Now sit down, All Might. So we can have this done. So, what you were telling me?
All Might put his hands in front of him. It had taken almost an hour and 3 cups of tea to explain everything that had happened over the past 2 weeks. 3 fights had almost broken out, and surprisingly it had been young Midoriya who defused each one. Is that young Midoriya managed to single-handedly convert the entirety of the League of Villains, including All for One, from villainy? And also All for One is this boy's father? More or less correct, Netsu nodded. All Might could see their resemblance. He'd never noticed this before. When All for One wasn't attempting to be intimidating, he bore a striking resemblance with his apparent son. Same curly hair, though the villain's was white, same freckles, and even the same smile. And you just believe that? All Might asked. You're not thinking, just for even a second, that they've been lying to us? That if he is All for One's son, then he might as well be tricking us so they can attack? That's why I am here. Tsukaushi spoke for the first time since All Might has arrived. I can confirm that nothing that's been said during this session was a lie. Netsu thought you might have trouble believing, old friend. I'm truly here to officially renounce villainy. All for One said. I plan on becoming a quirk counselor and spend most time with my 2 sons and new daughter. Speaking of said daughter, Netsu said thoughtfully, though not accusatory, I got a strange call from Sir Night-Eye this morning. He's All for One! All Might glared down at Netsu and Aizawa after Midoriya and the villain had left together. He can't be trusted! What if he has brainwashed young Midoriya while he was away? What if they are secretly scheming with the League? All Might, Netsu interrupted. Tsukaushi has already confirmed that they are not lying. His quirk would pick up interferences from any brainwashing involved, so we can safely say Midoriya is just fine. All Might went to protest, but Netsu held up a paw. "There is something else I need you to see as well." Without waiting for him to respond, Netsu pushed a laptop in his direction. Open on the screen was a YouTube video simply titled "Hello" that had been posted by Ryoku Analysis almost 2 hours ago. "What is this?" All Might asked, confused. "Just watch it," Netsu told him, pressing play. "Hello everyone," Ryoku greeted from the screen. "This video is more of an announcement than anything. If anyone was around for the Minecraft stream earlier, well, you might already know what this is about. Earlier I held a Minecraft stream with a bunch of people. Thanks everyone who came. By the way, it was really fun." He continued, "But on the stream something was revealed, and I want everyone to be on the same page, so I've decided to announce it properly in a video. So here we are." The video fades to a clip from the stream where Himiko Toga calls Izuku her savior using his name, and then everyone freaking out. It fades back to Ryoku in his room. "As you all just saw, my identity was revealed on the stream." Ryoku laughed. "I was planning to reveal myself in a different way, but I guess there were worse ways to go. So... Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya. I am a hero course student in class 1A at UA High School, and I'm going to be the first quirkless hero in the world." He held out a hand as if to shake hands with the camera. "I hope you all still support me now that you know who I am, and have a nice day. There'll be a proper video out later this week." If the god can't get rid of me, neither can you." "Oh my god! Have you seen it yet, guys?" "Congaret, seen what?" "If the gods can't get rid of me, neither can you. The video Ryoku posted." "Ah! I'm so... Ah!" "Congaret, okay. Hold on, give me a link." Lemon Snickers. "Oh my god, yes! I saw that boy, so sweet!" "If the god can't get rid of me, neither can you." "Ah, I know, right? Here's the link." Attachment. Dragoon tea. Okay, but did anyone else totally expect something like this, or just me? Congaret. Whoa, okay, I did not expect that. Green! Y'all should go watch the stream if you haven't. It was really good. If God can't kill me, then neither can you. Okay, but flower bean emoji is him. Ryoku is the flower bean. Hello. Lemon Snickers. Yes! He was so sweet the way he introduced himself. It was just amazing. I'm totally gonna support him as a hero. I'll buy your merch, Ryoku. If the gods can't kill me, neither can you. Same, oh my god, yes! People were supporting him. Izuku realized as screenshots were spammed into his DMs by his friends. They had known how nervous he had been about revealing his identity officially and being sent screenshots of Twitter posts, conversations, and comments declaring their support. Izuku found himself tearing up as he read through the latest one sent. By 9 p.m. that night, it had been announced on the news. There was a fair amount of backlash from some people, mainly older prejudiced people who had also been Endeavor supporters before everything happened. Izuku didn't care about their opinions anyway. The most important thing was that everyone knew now, and everyone included his classmates. He had already muted the class chat earlier that day, but a quick check showed him that they were still spamming the chat with messages, and some of the class members were sending him messages in DMs too. Izuku had decided to ignore them, mainly because he wanted to explain tomorrow in person. Tonight he'd get a good night's sleep, and then he'd face the impending doom in the morning.
Izuku Midoriya, you have a lot of explaining to do. This wasn't exactly how he'd expected walking through the front doors of the dorms would go. He'd arrived a little late because of a small, tiny, weak string of hope that arriving an hour after everyone else would help him avoid the major confrontation. Yeah, he didn't really believe in that plan either. Fuck! Izuku screeched, throwing himself onto the floor and break the fall of the box he had dropped when he was startled at the sudden outburst. During his descent, he had smashed his elbow on the front step and possibly fractured a rib as the box landed on his chest and knocked the air out of him. At least his most expensive camera wouldn't be the one smashed on the steps. That had cost him good money. Oh my god, Midoriya, are you okay? I'm so sorry! Uraraka yelped, rushing forward to help. She activated her quirk on the box and carefully helped him up. Izuku shook himself off awkwardly. Be careful with the box, that's the most expensive thing I own. Izuku squeaked as she set it down on the steps next to them. What happened? Mina cried, having appeared at the sound of the commotion by Jiro and Momo.
Midoriya, your elbow is bleeding everywhere! Jiro exclaimed in surprise. Izuku gave her a surprised look before looking down and realizing that she was right. Oops. Sorry. Izuku laughed awkwardly. I'll go to recovery, girl. Momo, that's my most expensive camera in that box. Can you make sure it gets to my room without being touched, please? On it. Momo nodded, lifting the box like the girl boss she is. I'll come with you, Midoriya, Uraraka offered. I'm so sorry. It's fine. Izuku waved her off, pushing himself up and beginning to walk away towards the campus as Momo and Jiro retreated inside. And besides, you're right, I do have a lot of explaining to do. Everyone shut the fuck up! Hitoshi yelled, hitting a baking tray with a wooden spoon and making such a racket that half the class flinched and covered their ears. All of them fell silent almost immediately. So all of you idiots have been pestering Midoriya all day, and for some reason he's decided to give you what you want, now that all of you are here and together. Hitoshi put down the tray and spoon and moved over to flop onto the couch as Izuku took his place in front of the class. Izuku said, Hi. Hi? Kaminari broke the silence after a minute. That's it? Hi? Well, there's not much else to say, really. Izuku tilted his head, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. Hello, I got kidnapped, persuaded the League of Villains to not be villains anymore, gained 2 sisters, a brother and a dad who is an ex-supervillain, and had my secret identity revealed to the planet in the span of 3 weeks. It's nice to meet you guys again. Hooray from the dorm life or whatever. Is someone cooking something? Smells really good right now.
Oh yeah,
Sada's cooking dinner, but wait, what? Mina yelled. You were kidnapped and you? Yep, Izuku nodded. Honestly, so much shit happened. I'm probably missing something. You beat the Minecraft speedrun world record within 2 hours of first playing the game, Hagakure suggested. You moved into a house 3 times the size of your old one paid for by Netsu, Shoto suggested. You injured yourself within 5 minutes of being here, Moma said, for a camera. That camera cost half my life savings. It was worth it, Izuku protested. Dude, Kaminari said with an astounded expression on his face. You're so cool.
Yeah, man! You're awesome! Go, Izuku!
Ichigo cheered from beside the blonde. Yo! Mina gasped. Does that mean we can be in the video? I don't see why not, but maybe we should get settled first. None of my stuff is set up. You sacrificed your elbow for a camera, and you haven't even set it up yet. Sego shook his head. Dude, I didn't have time! Izuku cried, waving his hands. It takes ages to get all my stuff set up properly. Okay, I have a question, Chiro said, leaning against Momo's side. How many of you knew? Because I know some of you did, because I did, and I just never said. To be fair, I only figured it out at summer camp. Hey, me too! You should have said! Hagakure said, voice suggesting that she was grinning as her arms waved around. Throughout the group, hands went up. Hitoshi, Shoto, Eiichiro, Momo, Hagakure. We knew that Shinzo and Kiri were your admins, though, Kaminari yelled, shaking Mina's arm. We found that out ages ago. And you didn't say? Sego said, looking positively betrayed. Bro! Sorry, bro! Kaminari sighed. Unfortunately, we were asked to keep this discovery a secret. Ida nodded. We totally would have told you guys. Uraraka smiled. The betrayal is strong, Tokoyami said bitterly. Almost a week later, Izuku was heading into the support lab. His hero costume had gotten torn during training, and he was hoping to ask Power Loader for a repair. Unfortunately, he had forgotten about a certain pink-haired support student. I knew it! Mei Hatsume practically screeched as soon as he entered, barreling into him and knocking them both over. I knew it! I knew you, Ryoku! Ah! I've known for ages since you came in here with the smoke bombs. I knew because I saw your stream. This is amazing. I haven't said anything for so long. Hey, Suna. Wow, okay. Izuku carefully pushed her off of him and sat up, slightly dazed, from the top, coherently. I'd like to change my hero name, Izuku announced at the beginning of a heroics class. Is that alright? Go ahead, problem child. You haven't been out interning yet, so it'll be fine to make any changes. Make sure you get any changes approved officially with midnight later. Aizawa sighed, waving dismissively. Get it over with so we can start class. Izuku nodded quickly and rushed to the front of the class, taking a deep breath as he looked over to the room. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Izuku said, addressing the class. And my hero name? It's Ryoku.
end.
Oh my god. It's done. This was the first fic we started with. And it's finally complete. Ended Flames. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this, and I'm really happy, and wow. It's a weird feeling, especially since it was this long. I think I am really excited, first of all, for the next series, because Ended Flames decided to add a series of the Ryoku analysis fics. Though they haven't posted anything yet, I'm really excited for what it will be. No pressure, I promise. We appreciate if you write something, but you feel like, no, it's not to be, then that's alright as well. And as a, what is it called? Special for the first completely finished fic, there are some bloopers. Hello, Izuku Midoriya. The deep voice addressed him with his full name. Oh fuck! That wasn't supposed to happen. My microphone! Well, actually only one blooper. I hope you liked it, because could you believe it? My freaking microphone stand snapped in my hands. Since I can't sit at the desk properly to record, I was resorting to holding it, and it just snapped in my fingers. Ugh. Either I'm gonna repair it, or I'm gonna see if I can make a new one or get a new one. And please, if you really liked my work so far, please, if you have it, like and subscribe. It will help this, what is it called? I'm so speechless, I forgot words. Anyway, like and subscribe if you want more, and see you soon.